At the end of this month, I'm going to be closing down my Patreon, and I thought I would rock up today and explain a little bit about why that is, but also share some of my thoughts on the platform, both good and bad, because I think that might be useful to some of you, and if not, I hope I get to keep you company for the next however long this video turns out to be. Hello, welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Kim, this is the Coffee and Craft Chat, where I rock up every week and I drink coffee. There's no craft today though, because I am all crafted out. I have been neck deep in making up the autumn collection, which you kind of see dotted around me, and I cannot craft anymore. I need a break. But we are chatting, and today the topic, as I said, is Patreon, why I'm closing it. Also, why I'm a little bit sad, to be brutally honest. And I thought we would start with why, seeing as that is the title of this whole video, or it will be. In a nutshell, last autumn, my husband and I decided that we were going to homeschool our daughter for a year, see how it went. And I realised that my workload was not going to allow that. So I had no choice but to reduce the amount of work that I did, which, if I'm being brutally honest, I was already at capacity. I was making anywhere between 11 and 12 videos a month, and it was a lot. There is no way that I would have been able to continue with that and homeschool. So it was a choice between closing down Patreon, closing down this channel, or closing down the handmade part of my business. The latter was not up for negotiation because no. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. So it was always going to be either Patreon or this channel. And ultimately, I love this channel. It kind of comes first, and I'll explain why that's relevant to having Patreon as well, but later on. That comes later in the video because my notes say so. But also, before I forget, I did ask on Instagram this morning if anybody had any questions that they wanted me to cover. And I was asked, how did you know closing was the right decision for you? That's essentially how. It was a necessity because I had to reduce the amount of work that I was doing so that I could create more time to teach maths and stuff. I do think even if we hadn't have decided to homeschool at the time, I still would have had to have at some point admitted that I'd taken on too much and scaled back. But I'm a bugger for taking on too much and then falling over. So I do wonder how long it would have taken me to get to that point. Although it felt like my hand was forced, it was a change that needed to be made and I just needed the push to do it. So a push it was. Now, I couldn't close it down completely straight away. That did cross my mind, but again, it's an income stream. I had three. It's the physical product part of my business, which is the handmade part, Beechtree Handmade. There's this channel, and there was that Patreon, which I don't think I've mentioned it. It's where I was talking about creating and running a YouTube channel to go alongside your handmade business. And I was coming at it specifically through that lens because there are many different kinds of YouTube channels and there are many different strategies. So obviously my experience comes from that, and that's what I was focusing on. And I really, really enjoyed it. I do think I've come to a natural end point, but again, I'm jumping ahead a bit. But as far as closing it goes, that was kind of how I knew it was the right decision for me. I'd just taken on too much and I had to figure out what thing I was going to put down, and this kind of forced me to do that. And the next question I got was the logistics from getting from the point of making the decision to actually closing it. I can't speak to that completely at the moment because I haven't quite got there yet. The last video on the Patreon is going to go up in a couple of days. I can't do exactly what I want to do on Patreon with this. You can close down your membership. That part is fairly straightforward, whereas you just stop the membership so that nobody else gets charged. Now, this isn't the first time I've had a Patreon membership, and I do remember it being harder to do this the first time. So I do find the whole process of closing down a membership is easier now. However, I had hoped to be able to keep all of the content that I had made up for free for anybody who was a member, but that's something that I don't think I can do on the platform. So I might have to make a very long form masterclass style video, load it here on YouTube, mark it as private or unlisted, and then hand out the link to those that want to keep it or keep access to these videos. The other thing that I want to do is I want to take that masterclass. I need a better word. It's not a masterclass because the style is very much like this. It's just me rocking up, chatting, and every week I'm talking about a different topic around, building up your YouTube channel. So it's not a masterclass, but we'll just call it a long video. I want to take that same long video and put it up on Patreon as a one-off purchase for anyone new who wants to come in and have a look. But I do need to figure out how to package that up, because the best word that I can come up with is masterclass, but I also don't like it because, like I say, it's not a class, it's not a course, it's just a collection of videos that are, I guess, kind of educational. Ideas in the comment section, please. I beg you, I need help. So that's the plan. The logistics of actually doing that, I don't know. I'm going to work it out. But that's the plan. It's going to be a big and scary change. And what I've been doing over the past year or so, it's not quite a year, but getting there, has been to try and grow my channel membership here. You may have seen me talking about that in the past, and that's because I've been trying to build it up so that when I do close down the Patreon, it's not such a hit. I'm not going to lie, I'm looking forward to spending more time on the channel membership. It's not going to be the same content at all. I won't be talking about YouTube stuff. Currently, I only do one video a month for channel members, and it is it's sort of like a monthly wrap up from the previous month, but also a reset going forward. It's more vloggy. There's more I wouldn't say personal stuff, but I do get a little bit more personal there, and it's a bit more behind the scenes. So it'll be interesting to see how that evolves over time, but I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of helped me. I don't know, I like making vlogs. They don't always do great on this channel. The talking head content seems to be what everybody is here for, which is absolutely fine. I love doing that too. But I do like doing vlog content as well, and it's nice to have somewhere where that fits, where people are there for that. So it's yeah. It fills my happy cup. Sometimes I say things, and as I'm saying them, I'm like, I'm not sure about that, Kim. It makes me happy. So in a nutshell, that is why I'm closing my Patreon. It's not because I'm not happy with the platform. I actually think it's really bloody good. And I think if you run a handmade business or you're an artist and you're looking for another kind of source of income so you can diversify your income streams, I think it's amazing. And actually, let's get into the thoughts now as to why I think it's amazing and other things that are less amazing. Okay, so there are 4 main reasons why I love it, and I've kind of already touched on the first one, which is that for makers and artists, it's a fantastic extra income stream to do alongside your business. It just works really well. The second reason why I love it is because it offers so many different ways that you can communicate with the members there. There's videos, posts, audio files so that you can have a podcast if you want to. You've got chats now, you can make little chat rooms. I had some of those at the beginning. And there's the shop, so you can offer your posts as standalone purchase now posts, or you can put together a collection of them and you can like sell the content like a library. Patreon seems to be quite on it as far as evolving with time and the tools that they offer. I just, having done this years ago and comparing it to how they're doing things now, I think they've improved in a lot of ways. And to compare that to channel memberships, which is so clunky in comparison and doesn't offer half of these tools. Don't get me wrong, I love channel memberships and it's getting better, but YouTube isn't quite as quick to evolve and add new things. If I had to choose Patreon or channel members as far as the ways that you can talk to your community goes, Patreon has got channel memberships beat. But the reason why I like channel memberships is because video content is pretty much the only way I really want to do things. So for me, it's not too bad. But if you're looking for somewhere where you can do a bit of everything, Patreon will probably be your best bet. And the third thing I like about Patreon is that, especially if you're doing it alongside YouTube, it's well known. People know what Patreon is. If you say it, they just automatically know, which is a huge hurdle to get over. If you have to explain to somebody what the platform is, and if you have to sign up for it first and all of these things, it adds extra friction, and it's less likely that people are going to hop on over. Which is the last reason why I like it so much, is because it works so well with YouTube. I think people have been using it for so long now that it's very common for YouTubers to have a Patreon, and that's kind of linked to what I said before about it being well known and what have you. Okay, here are the things that I think everybody needs to know. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but you definitely need to know this. It's a lot of work, and this has been behind why I'm closing it, because I think we forget that it is a job all of its own. It's not just like a little extra something. It's a lot, especially if you're doing the tiers, which is like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 sort of thing. I only had one tier because I've tried the tier system in the past, you know, where you offer different things for each tier, and it overwhelm central. I'm sure there are people out there that can deal with it well, but for me, it nearly broke my brain. And I spent so much of my time focusing on the tiers and what I was offering and what I wasn't offering, that it was taking time away from everything else that I was doing. So this time I wanted to make it nice and simple, and I went in with one tier. Everybody got the same thing. And that worked really well for me. So just know that just because these tools are available and you can offer a ton of tiers, you don't have to, unless you want to, but just keep it simple, especially to start. The other thing is that despite it working really well with YouTube, as I say, it's still a different platform. So if you're trying to get people off of YouTube and onto a different platform, there's always going to be that leap for them to make. And so therefore converting people can be quite slow. Not to mention that there's the added issue of YouTube not liking it when you send people off the platform. I mean, that's not just YouTube. Any platform will like to keep users on it rather than losing them. So it can be a balance to try and promote it so that you can grow your Patreon community while at the same time not annoying the YouTube algorithm. And the thing is, and this is what I've been guilty of, is that often we can think about Patreon as an isolated thing. But what I keep coming back to is that it's very unlikely that you're going to get members unless you have promoted the Patreon somewhere else, which means you need to think of Patreon as being Patreon and something. And that, for me, that and was YouTube and sometimes Instagram. But when you're thinking about how much time you have to spend on this and how much work you can put into it, you have to not just think of Patreon itself, but all of the other things that you might have that you're going to use to try and get people over to it, because it's that all of them combined is going to be your Patreon community, or your workload, essentially. And it can grow very fast. So all I would say, if you're thinking about starting Patreon, know how much time you actually have. Think about your energy levels as well. Think about all of the things that take you away from your business, from your time that you get to spend on your business. It could be family, it could be maybe your health even. If you have a health issue that means that you're rocking up feeling okay some days, but then other days just flat, you need to try and think about what you want to do with your flattest self in the forefront of your mind, because sometimes you might make plans with your bright-eyed and bushy-tailed version, sort of steering the. I'm mixing up metaphors. That bright-eyed and bushy-tailed person might be making the plans, but it might be the flat version of yourself that has to rock up and do the work. So be nice to them. Make sure you can do it. And I think I need to remind myself to do that too. And then the last couple of things that I've got here, they're not biggies at all. But for me personally, I used to get very confused as to what currency I should have Patreon set in. Should I have it in pounds because I'm from the UK? Or should I put it in dollars And ultimately I left it in dollars because I didn't know what to do. So I was just like, it's fine. But for me, not knowing what the best currency was a bit of a downside, because I saw other people within the UK, some would use pounds and some would use dollars. I guess maybe it depends more on where your audience is, because if your audience comes from the US where, you know, their currency is dollars, maybe it would help to have the currency in dollars as opposed to pounds. I don't know. Anyway, confusion. It never left. And then this is the last thing, but it's not Patreon's fault. It's Apple. If you sign up to Patreon using, I think it's your phone, or no, the Apple Store, you get charged extra. So if you do it on desktop, I think, then apparently it's okay. I never looked into that because I remember it was a huge thing when it came out, but by that point I knew I was going to be closing down my Patreon, so I was like, But again, that's a bit nitpicky because that's got nothing to do with Patreon. They weren't happy about that either. So yeah, shout at Apple about that one. Maybe get yourself an Android. So would I recommend Patreon to anyone else? If you're an artist or you're a maker and you want to create an extra income stream to go alongside your handmade business, absolutely. It's not perfect, nothing is. But I think as long as you can go into it being really bloody honest with yourself about how much time you have to spend, how much work you can do, and not allowing yourself to get taken away. That's not the phrase I'm looking for. Carried away. I mean, same thing. As long as you don't get carried away, taken away with the novelty factor and all of the bells and whistles. Don't overpromise or make too many offers. It might feel good, it might look good, but when it comes to actually doing the work consistently, month after month, it can start to feel very burnouty, especially if life throws you a curveball and you have to reduce your work. Just remember, it's your flat self, your slug self, your I have no spell slot self that will have to rock up sometimes and do the work. So just bear that version of you in mind when you set what you're going to do. And don't forget that having a Patreon community also means having a YouTube or an Instagram or a TikTok or whatever platform that it is that you use. Factor that in, because promoting it and, you know, trying to build up that buzz and to get people over, that's part of it. And I forgot that bit, and that's probably why I nearly fell over. But all that being said, I'm going to miss it. It's been a wonderful community. And I think I said this earlier, but I do think that I've come to a natural end point with it, because I had a whole list of topics that I wanted to cover. And I've done that now. I literally crossed off the last one, was it a week or 2 weeks ago? Recently, I just crossed off the last one, and I felt like a little pang of sadness when I put that list in the bin, because I've had it for well over a year. It's been a nice little community. And if you're watching this and you are currently a Patreon member, thank you. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you learnt something over there. I am going to be posting a video wrapping up and letting everybody know, like, the handover, what's happening. If you are still an active member by the time I close down the Patreon, I want to make sure that I'm able to send you a link so that you still have access to all of that. Yeah, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You've helped keep me in business the last few years. All of you. You don't have to spend money with me to help. I mean, even those of you that rock up and listen to me waffle about whatever is in my brain that particular week. Thank you. All right, so that is why I'm closing my Patreon. If you've been thinking about starting one, don't take me closing down mine as a bad sign, because it's more out of necessity than anything else. I'm going to go now because words are getting difficult. I did say last week that I was going to try really hard this week to come up with something a little bit brighter and breezier. How did I do? I think I did okay. Right then, I really am going. I'm really bad at stopping a video. Ta-ra.